When I look back over my life, today I'm going to be totally candid with you guys. A lot of people have asked me, how did I get to where I am today? How did I end up buying my home that I just purchased? Well, in today's video, I'm going to take you back to 2020, the year it all started for me, the year it all happened for me, and I'm going to take you on my 5-year journey up until now, almost 5 years. It was actually September 2020 when I first started my YouTube channel, and like a few months prior when I was doing all the planning and everything. So I'm going to take you back on a journey of how it all happened for me, how I got to this point, how I arrived here as a full-time entrepreneur. Some of you already know that I quit my full-time job as a dispatcher working full-time for cats. I had a sweet job. I mean, I was a supervisor. I was making really good money. Before that, I was an Amtrak conductor. I was making even more money, but then I relocated down here. But I wasn't 100% happy. I knew I wanted to be home full-time with my son. He had some challenges. I've talked about that before. And I just knew it was time for me to step out on faith. I knew it was time for a change. So if you've been wondering how I've done it, if you want to know if this is something that you could do too, definitely stay tuned for today's video, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not gatekeeping. You guys know I've told you certain things before, but today we're going to take a little deep dive, and it's really easy. It's really not rocket science. I didn't do a lot of things differently, maybe from the next entrepreneur, but what I did worked for me. So hopefully you can take some of the little tidbits that I tell you today and implement it into your business, or you can just find some things and you can tweak it. Maybe you've done some of the things I've done already, but literally I haven't done, half the things I still wanted to do, but I'm going to tell you what I've done. So sit back, relax, enjoy today's video. We're going to talk openly and candidly. Grab some coffee, grab your wine, grab your snack, and definitely grab your pen, your paper, and a notebook. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to start your own business as well. So let's rewind back to the year of 2020 when the pandemic hit, when COVID started and it was spreading like wildfire. I was working down here at the post office. Prior to that, because my son was diagnosed with, ADHD, he was diagnosed with oppositional defiance, anxiety, different things, among some other things. Yeah, it was really crazy. I was getting called up to the school left and right. I was always having to leave work early or taking off. And, as a single mom, sometimes, your boss could care less. They don't care. I mean, I would get sympathy here and there. When you have like a 9-to-5, they just want to see their business running. They just want a body in place. And I was a supervisor, so I was filling in shifts for, other people when they called out. I had to operate the trains. I had to run the trains. I was literally in charge of making sure the CAT system, the rail system, those trains moved out on time. And if anyone else was late, I had to operate it because I was the manager on duty. So the manager can't not be there, right? But I was always trying to have people cover my shift. I was switching my schedules from night shift to day shift, and it was just crazy because I was just trying to see what was going to work best for me as a single mom and someone who had just relocated down here. But it was tough. It was really tough. Even before that, prior to that, me working at CATS, I was at the post office, and that was even worse because, rain, sleet, snow, the mail has to be delivered. It was long hours. So I was never 100% happy on a job. Like, never. I'm not meant to be out there sitting behind a desk or taking someone else's orders. That's just not me. That's just not my steez. So I was like, Trina, you gotta find a better way. You gotta get it together. And more importantly, I just knew my son needed me 100% full time. I was leaning a lot on my parents. Long story short, when COVID hit and I had to homeschool him, I was like, I was getting no sleep, working at night, homeschooling him in a day. I was like, this is just the worst. So I just started brainstorming. Trina, what can you do? So if you have something in your heart, if you have a desire, if it's something that you're passionate about, if it's something that you're losing sleep over, it's something that you're like, I know I can do this, that's your sign. That's literally your sign. And that's all I needed. I did pray over it. I did, consider and weigh all my options, but I was like, I gotta do this. Like, it's either now or never. And that's literally what I did. So I started brainstorming. I wrote out my vision. I made it plain. I calculated in my mind, how can I make this happen? At the time, the big question is, a lot of people always ask me, how much money did it take for me to start my business? And believe it or not, I can't remember the exact number, but I know I didn't have over $3,000 saved. Even though I had a really good job, I had a lot of bills and I had a lot of different things I was doing. So I was basically paycheck to paycheck and saving little by little at the time. So I think I probably only invested in between $2,000 and $3,000 with startup, buying only what I needed. Do y'all hear me in the back? I only bought what I needed. I started out with a good heat press. I didn't buy a little rinky-dink cheap heat press. My very first heat press, you can go back to the video and you can see I unboxed a HPN. I did a lot of researching on heat presses. I did not want to have to turn around and buy another heat press 2 to 3 months later. I didn't start out with a 15 by 15. I started out with a 16 by 20 because I knew I wanted my heat press to be able to press a number of items, all sizes. So I didn't start out small. I bought a $900 heat press. That was my first investment. I knew I wanted to do sublimation. So I bought the little oven, oyster oven from Walmart. I didn't have the little sublimation fancy ovens that they have today. No, I bought like a $30, $40 sublimation oven from Walmart that I use for sublimation. Convection oven, matter of fact, that's what it was. It was not called the sublimation oven. It's an actual oyster oven for convection, but I used it only for sublimation. I bought the Cameo. I bought that with my own money to cut vinyl and stuff. That's how I started. I didn't start out with transfers, none of that fancy smancy stuff. And I bought the 5-in-1 mug press, plate press. Even though I never used the plate press, I bought a mug press. It had like a combo. If I would go back, I definitely wouldn't buy that one. I do not recommend that one because it was trash. Even though it had like a little small neck press, label press, it just really wasn't, yeah, I would not recommend it. I struggled with it. I made it work for the time being and then I upgraded later. But a heat press, the Cameo, mug press, and the sublimation oven, and my blanks. Now this is probably the #1 question people ask all the time. How many blanks do you start off with? So depending upon your business, depending upon what you're going to be doing, who you're selling to, how many garments, how many colors, it's your business, it's your brand, it's what you want to start and what you want to offer with. Now I just happen to have a place near me that I researched. I did a lot of research and it took me long sleepless nights. Remember, I'm working nighttime, right? And I am actually homeschooling my son in the daytime. While I'm homeschooling my son, I'm working on designs. I'm researching stuff. I had to work on my designs before. Again, I worked on my stuff before I started actually doing my business, right? I wanted to make sure I had designs that I liked. So I did all that. I got my logo in place. I did my DB. I'm gonna get to all of that. But I started out with my blanks, just doing 5 of every color. I literally only bought, because again, I'm just starting out. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm praying it is, but I only started out with a limited amount because then I would just turn around and go back and buy more if I needed. So I started out with black, white, gray, and I think I got a few sizes in like red and blue. If I go back, I wouldn't have even bought red and blue. I would have just kept white, black, and gray at the time. Those are the basic colors. Those are the colors that you absolutely need. You don't have to do gray, but you know, a lot of people do like heather gray. So, and I did 5 of every size. 5 of every size. That's what I started out with. I wanted to see how those sold. Then once I started selling, then I would go and buy 10 of every size. I wasn't buying hundreds of shirts in the beginning. And I'm still not. Okay, but that's because I have a warehouse next to me. So I just want you to know what I started out with, how much I started out with, because I had to make that $3,000 stretch. Okay, I had to make it stretch. The only thing I purchased was neck labels because I didn't have, a DTF or anything. That wasn't even popping back then. I never even heard of that at that time. So I purchased my own neck labels. That's pretty much the only thing I purchased. I wasn't doing transfers back then. If you look at my videos, everything I was cutting and weeding like a mother. I was dead tired. If I could go back, I would do it all now. So I'm giving you guys all the game, all the tea, because it was a lot. So imagine running a brand and getting a lot of orders and cutting and weeding. I have my family cutting for days. I would be stressing out if they missed, because we had to learn this. It was all brand new. My sisters and them didn't know anything about cutting and weeding. They was like, what? I was like, please do not mess up. Please keep that eye in, like little small letters and stuff. So I had to alter my designs. It was a lot. It was a lot of learning curves. It was a lot of messing up stuff. But at the end of the day, it was all worth it. So that's how I started. Now I'm gonna tell you how I grew, how I scaled my business, and how I expanded. It definitely was not easy. It's been a lot of trial and error. And look at me now, 5 years later, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I bought my own house. I literally bought my own house. Now, I bought a house before living in New York, purchased my first home when I was 30 years old. I know y'all probably think I'm like 30 now, but I am definitely well over 30, over 40. But I purchased that house. It was fairly easy because I had a 9-to-5 and I was making 6 figures, right? So here I am as an entrepreneur. I had to start all again, literally from ground zero, with nothing, literally nothing. So as you know, when you're an entrepreneur and you're gonna, be investing in property and buying property, you have to, have your business on the books and on the records for at least 2 years. So that was my goal. I knew that going in. I set my goals. I knew what I was working towards, and I said, I'm not going to stop until I get it. It took me a little bit longer than 2 years because I did not have my business set up 100% in the beginning the way I should have, only because my business took off and I wasn't really prepared. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Make sure you do everything legally the right way ahead of time, securing your business names, making sure. Now you can start off with a DBA because that's what I did. I went down to the courthouse, I filed, it was like $30-something, DBA, doing business as, and that makes your business legal. Again, I was just testing the waters. Not sure how it was going to turn out, so I didn't want to go paying hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for an LLC trademark, because time you do that, you have to start paying taxes on it. So I did all the research and I was like, I'm gonna just hold off on it. But it just so happened that once I ended up documenting my journey on YouTube alongside of doing my business, it just took off, and I was like, and I just never found the time right away. So that was my mistake. I didn't find the time right away to get an LLC. It literally I wasn't paying myself. So every time tax time rolled around, I'm getting ahead of myself because I have notes and this is not how I have it, but it's okay. I'm being open and honest with you guys, so we'll just backtrack a little bit. But I literally, when I came around to, I didn't have a bookkeeper. I literally was just putting all my money into a business account. I did have a business account, so make sure you set up you want to keep those funds separate. So that's the one thing I did automatically. I did open up a business account, but I did not have an LLC. I was not paying myself. So those are things that you want to do from the jump. I would say after 3 months, you want to make sure you're doing that, because once my business started, hitting the ground running, I just never found the time to do it. And every time tax time came around, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't pay myself. So that was another year delay for me getting my house. Again, everything has to be, properly, recorded and documented for purchases of a home. That was one of my number one goals. So it was after year 2 of me doing my business that I was like, Trina, you are doing good. You're gonna continue with this. So get it together and make it work and stop lollygagging. So that's how I started. Everyone's journey might be different. Everyone's approach or strategy might be different when you start your business. For me, just know that I didn't sew. I was always creative. I was actually a theater major. I was in performing arts. Like, if some of you know, my son sings. Like, it's in my blood. It's in his blood. I am theatrical. I'm animated, so I always wanted to be an actress. But coming from a Christian family, my mother was like, you are not going to be in those sex scenes. You are not going to be doing X, Y, and Z. I was in performing arts all the way up until I graduated high school, and I really wanted to go to like Juilliard and all that stuff. But like listening to my family, I gave up on that dream, and I went and majored in business. I mean, I'm still doing business now, but you know, it wasn't what I really wanted to do. So I always had a creative side, long story short. So, but I was never like the sit down crafter. That's what I wasn't. But I did want my own clothing brand. I actually saw myself, to be honest, not like joggers and sweatsuits, but I really wanted to do like fashion, like dresses and cute like regular outfits that you see, you know, wanted to be like a little fashion stylist and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, I just thought it would be harder. It seems like it's easier now. But I thought that avenue would be a little bit harder to brand. If I go back, I would actually do that better. But instead, I knew as a Christian that I could get a movement. I knew that I could have a certain niche of people, customers, followers that would latch on to the story, because I came up with this brand called Moving Grace. And again, I had my vision. I brainstormed all different types of, you know, names with my family, going back and forth. I actually envisioned, when I came up with my name, I knew I had to tell a story. I knew I had to come on the scene as a new brand, and I had to launch it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I advertise it? How can I market it? This is before it even came onto paper. I need a brand name that's going to be marketable, that's going to be a household name, that's going to be catchy. I need people to identify with it, relate with it. All of that, I'm thinking, this is how you come up with the brand, right? And I thought about my personal life, my personal journey. How can I tie that in? The struggles I go through day by day. Can someone relate to it and actually want to buy it, wear it, rock it? You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff has to matter when you're starting a brand. So I launched my brand Moving Grace, because everything I do, I move, I operate in God's grace. I do anything with it. He gives us grace new every single day, grace and mercy. So I tied that all in, and I saw it just started coming to life in my mind, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. That was the name of my Christian clothing brand. And I launched that. But because I knew off the rip, because I'm always a forward thinker, I'm always thinking ahead. You have to think 2-3 steps ahead, right? I said, what if I have days where I'm not making sales? What do I do? So I knew automatically I wanted to be able to supplement my income. Again, I'm not looking in the rearview mirror. I'm not looking to go back to my 9-to-5. I had put in my 2 weeks notice. I let them know I was gone. I left on good terms just in case. But I said, I don't want to have to go back. Like, I don't. So I opened up an Etsy shop to sell crafts on the side. So I had my clothing brand. That was my main focus. But I also said I need something else that I can be doing in the meantime, just in case if my business doesn't take off right away. Okay? Not everyone does that. That was just me. So I launched my Etsy shop. I started doing bling mugs, and those got really popular. I mean, they were really, really good. I was selling all different types of crafts. That's when I got into making like birthday stuff. I was doing the Roblox gaming hoodies. I don't know if any of you remember that. That was so big until I got like shut it down. And I didn't know if it was trademarked or not. But I guess eventually it was. Roblox had got so big, and I was selling custom gaming hoodies. Oh man, those bling mugs and those gaming hoodies, those like put my Etsy shop on the map. Like, I was making money on Etsy. Eventually my Etsy shop had got shut down, like I think a little over a year or whatever the case is, but I was like, dang, that was my money, that was my gravy. Like, ooh, if I wasn't making sales with my business, I sure enough was making money on Etsy. Meanwhile, even with my clothing brand and my Etsy shop, I knew I wanted to document my journey. I didn't know how that was gonna turn out. I'm gonna be honest. Now, y'all know today how it turned out because I'm doing good. But in the beginning, I just really, my intent was I want to document my whole journey, the good, the bad, the in-between, let people know what it's like starting a business from home. I literally started in a spare bedroom, cleared out my bedroom, built my own table. All of that is on my YouTube channel while I'm homeschooling my son. Now, of course, I don't think I ever showed me homeschooling my son on this channel. It's on my other channel sometimes, and it was rough because, again, my son had ADHD and different things like that, so it was rough. Sometimes I would have to call my cousin in to come help. I'm like, if you don't come get this boy under control, I be trying to teach him a lesson or help him, and he be sliding under the desk, rolling on the floor. I was like, I was tired, but I had to keep going. I had to keep pushing myself because I had goals, I had dreams, I had ambitions, and I could not fail. I could not let my son see me fail. I could not let the world see me fail. And I just couldn't fail on myself. That's just my personality. When I start something, I want to complete it. I want to see it through. But I got my son involved. He loved, so as like a reward, as a, because he would come in sometimes, because we're home all day. Now we're home all day together. We in the house together. So he would literally come in the room while I'm working. So I was like, let me just start showing him some things. It just dawned on me, like, I'm trying to keep him busy because he has ADHD. He's always all over the place. So I'm trying to keep him calm, trying to keep him tame. So come and help mommy work. Let me show you some things. And he literally liked it. He liked being under me. He liked watching me. He was like, oh, this HeatPress is cool. He's a rambunctious boy. So that's how that started. That's how he became on my channel. And then he wanted to game. He loved gaming. He loved Roblox. The idea to make the custom Roblox hoodie came from my son. Thank you so much, Kaden, because he wanted one, and I was like, this is cool. He was like, you should sell them. So that's how that started. And then he wanted his own gaming t-shirts, different things, because he wanted to start a YouTube channel. It really got a lot. It got to be too much for me because he started a gaming channel, YouTube channel. It was doing good for a minute, but I was like, there's no way I can edit your videos, edit my videos, work the Etsy shop, and work my Christian clothing brand. So I was like, I ain't got no life. Why y'all think I'm still single? I was in the house. But I just enjoyed spending all that time with him. It brought me joy. It brought him joy. And that's how I started my business, literally. So as I was working my Christian brand, I was working my Etsy shop, I was filming it, documenting it all on YouTube, not hiding anything, being authentically me, like literally showing you guys my mistakes. That's when companies started reaching out to me like, hey, you're starting a business, can you showcase this product, can you show? That's how it started. I didn't ask for anything. People just recognized my channel. I started getting more views, and people were drawn to me. People were drawn to my story. So I always tell people, tell your story. Like, whatever your story is, you have to make it work. That's how I grew my business. I just want you guys to know that it's not easy. It's not an easy road. Sometimes it's a lonely road. I sacrificed a lot. I gave up going out a lot with, like, I ain't got like a slew of friends. Most of my friends are back home in New York or in other states. But I gave up a lot. It was just church, home, homeschool, work. Pretty much family. I wasn't doing a lot of socializing because I was grinding. I was literally in the years of, oh, we making this work. We in our grinding years. We getting this done. So I know that when you are literally starting a business, you don't got time for a whole bunch of other stuff. You got to block out all the noise. I had people that didn't believe in me, of course, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong. No one ever said, but we hope you don't make it. No one ever says that, but you can just tell when people are not really, supporting you. Like, that's what you do? You quit your job to like make t-shirts? Like, really? Yeah, I quit my job to make t-shirts, sweatsuits, hats, and look at me now. Look at me now. So I just know some people was like, girl, you quit your job to make t-shirts? Like, really? So you just know when you can't tell everybody your business. You can't tell everybody what you're going to do, your dreams, because they will shoot it down. So I was one of the ones who's like, I'm just going to pop out and show y'all. And that's exactly what I did. So sacrifice is key. You have to literally condition yourself to stay focused, to stay driven, and new ideas would just come to me. New ideas, fresh ideas. I was always thinking of slogans. Now back then I ain't have no chat GPT, right? So I would like have a pen and a pad and I'm just writing out ideas. I'm just like, and I would ask only certain people who I really trusted, you know, like, how does this sound? Can you see yourself wearing this? Da 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 da. I would show them a design. Like, I would test out my ideas, my graphics, my slogans with only a small circle. And I would see what they would say. Now, sometimes, you know, you gotta still go with your own gut because it's your business, your brand, your vision, right? But when I would get the satisfaction or approval from other people, I'm like, yeah, I hit it. So yeah, it was moments like that just kept me going. Or I would ask my son because I wanted to involve him in a lot of stuff as well. So I'm like, Kaden, do you like this? He'd be like, that's cool, mommy, that's dope. He ain't gonna say that now. A whole different type of approach and attitude now that he's a teenager. But back then he was just so excited to be involved and to help me. I was just fascinated at how things were coming to life for me. Because I didn't have an easy, you know, my life wasn't always easy. Things don't come to me easy. I have to work hard for everything that I have. No one ever did anything for me. I come from a single parent home as well. My parents broke up, you know, early as well. So I had to fight to get my own car, fight to get my own apartment, like things that nothing was given to me. I just want you guys to know that. So a lot of people look at me now and be like, oh my goodness, everything you do, you're so blessed and da da da. No, it's not like that. It's really not. If you know my story, I think I should be further along, to be honest. But because I'm in a situation that you guys don't know about with my son, I feel like quitting pretty much every day, like literally throwing in the towel every day. But I know I can't quit on him. I know I can't quit on myself. So it took me 5 years to get where I'm at. Some people it takes them shorter, some people it takes them longer. I know I would be much further along had I not been in the situation I'm in with my son. But I know that there's a testimony at the end of this. I know I'm going through for a reason. So I'm grateful for where I am now, because if I look back 5 years ago, oh, that's a song. When I look back over my life, I got a testimony. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful. So I'm here to tell you guys that anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. So, but that's not all I did. That's not all I did. I'm going to tell you how I scaled my business, because even with me starting the business, even with me, you know, doing multiple streams, you still want longevity. You still want to make sure that you're growing and you're scaling, right? So yeah, there were other things that I had to do and incorporate to continue to get to where I am today. So my Christian brand was doing okay. It was doing okay, you know. I wasn't busting out the seams like Gucci or anything like that. When I first started my business, I started with a pre-sale. I had to create buzz. I'll talk about all of that. I'm going to be doing a master class coaching, so I'll give you all tips and tricks and strategies. I'll talk about that later on. I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned to the end of the video, because all of that. So if you want to learn all these strategies and how I did for marketing, yeah, all of that is going to be in that course, that mentorship course that I'm coming out with. But I did a lot of researching on the best way to launch my business. So everyone launches differently. When you're doing a new business, you can do like a soft launch, you can do a hard launch, and I did a hard launch. But I did like teasers, a lot of teasers. Just so you know, the following that I have today on my Instagram, I have like 136,000. On my TikTok, I have like, I think 46 something thousand. And of course on YouTube here, I have 213 or something like that thousand, right? But when I first started out on Instagram, it was literally just friends and family, right? Like around 600 people or so, friends, family, co-workers, people from college, like a lot of people, but I ain't know a lot of people. I was not popular at all, just so you guys know. So I have a really, really large family. Like both sides of my family is really large. I have a church family. So all of those are the only people on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And when I tell you the slogan that they say, prepare to be sick of me, that slogan wasn't out 5 years ago, but I sure enough made it a thing because y'all gonna be sick of me. I got a business and I'm gonna talk about it every day. For all of the people who want to start businesses and you're not posting on social media, because number one, I moved to North Carolina. I didn't know a lot of people here yet at all. Still don't know a lot of people. So how am I going to talk? How am I going to start a business? How am I going to launch a business? I had to use what I had, right? And it was social media. There was no word of mouth. I wasn't going out, sending out mailers or whatever. I used social media and social media only. And I barely ran ads. I only ran ads on Etsy, and that was for the shop. So my Christian clothing brand was not on Etsy. Etsy was just crafts. So for my Christian clothing brand, I marketed on Facebook and Instagram, and I got people from my church that I barely knew because I just moved down here. Again, I don't care. I'm bold, I'm outgoing, and I'm going to ask people and solicit for help. I was just like when I started my photography business, I was going in stores and maternity stores. I was going in Walmart, and every time I seen a cute baby or a pregnant woman, I was like, do you want some free photos? I'm starting a new photography business and I need someone to take pictures. That's how I started my photography business. That was before. So when it came to my Christian clothing brand, I had to use the same approach. You cannot be afraid to go up to people. People are going to want to help you if they're getting something out of it. Did y'all hear what I just said? People are going to want to help you if they're going to get something out of it. So make it rewarding, give them an incentive. So every time I went to someone in my church that had cute kids, or I seen a cute couple, like when I started my business, I said, can you be some models for me? Now, you ain't gonna pick no ugly people. You gotta pick somebody that's gonna look good in your stuff. I used my sisters, of course, but I needed other people. People knew my sisters, so I was like, I'm gonna need other people to make this look legit, to make it look like, okay, people really rocking my stuff. And I looked and I intentionally sought out people who I knew would look good in my apparel and who other people would see themselves in. I didn't go get like model type people. I got natural looking people, and they worked it. Oh my God, we're great friends today. A couple that goes to my church. Her name just happens to be Katrina as well. I love Katrinas. Katrinas are the best. And their kids modeled for me, and it just worked out. When it came to my son's clothing brand, I'll talk about that a little later. I did the same thing, got kids and stuff to model his brand along with him. So you want to find people that you can use. If you don't have nobody in your family, if you don't go to church, you don't know nobody like at your kid's school, hell, get your ex. I don't know. Get somebody. Find someone on the street. Go to stores. Someone somewhere will be able to help you, right? Make it work. Do what it do, or be your own model. Of course, I model myself, because it's my brand and I'm the face of the brand. That leads me to say, so in the beginning, I was not doing. I did a pre-sale. I launched it. I put so much buzz. I kept making all these posts. I created videos and I took pictures. So when you're taking pictures, you want to create videos as well. With you walking, modeling, you can use music over it. You can tell your story over it. I did a number of things. I mixed it in, right? But I kept posting about it. I really, I talked about it as if like this was going to be the next hottest thing. You got to hype yourself up, right? So I hyped it up so much so that way when I did launch, I had a lot of orders. Just from my Christian community, my family. Sometimes they always say your family don't support you, but not everybody, because if everybody in my family bought, your girl would be rich. But some people, a number of people bought from me, but it was mainly like a lot of my, whether it was old co-workers that I was surprised and shocked that purchased from me, and just people like from different churches that I was, on. They would spread the word. And then I always asked, it was on my cards, like my thank you cards. I wrote like hand notes and stuff. I wanted to make sure that whoever had social media, make sure you send me a picture. So again, I was always thinking 2-3 steps ahead, right? I knew that I was gonna need reviews. I knew that I was going to need real photos for social media. I was gonna need all types of content. So I was always asking people to send in their reviews, their testimony, their videos, their selfies, whatever it was, packaging when they got it. So I was getting a mixture of stuff that I was using for my business, and it just like really helped me. It propelled me. That's what got me going. So those are all things that you need to be thinking about when you're launching. You need to be thinking about how you're going to launch. Are you going to do a soft launch, a hard launch? Are you going to do a pre-sale? How are you going to create the buzz? Are you going to run ads or are you not? Like, I didn't want to have to run ads. Again, I didn't have a lot of money to start up with, so I didn't want to waste money in ads. I just knew that I could push it myself and just see how it goes at first. And then if I needed to, then I would run ads. I probably should have ran ads later on. But nevertheless, that's how I started, and I did well. I found the company wholesale. I got my wholesale license. I got all of that, and I ordered my blanks from a company where I was able to save some money. I did not buy anything without a wholesale license because I wanted to keep all them coins for me. I don't care if it was 50 cents, $1 cheaper. I wanted all them coins. All right. I needed to make sure I priced my stuff as low as I could and still get a good profit. All of that stuff is key and essential. Every time I made, like, let's just say I made $5,000. So this is how I grew my business. This is how I scaled and saved at the same time. Because again, your girl trying to buy a house, your girl trying to go on vacations, take trips. So I'm trying to do all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to retire my mom. My mother's already retired. She ain't work. But I'm trying to help them out as much as I can, right? I'm trying to save for my son. Every time I would make a certain amount, of course, my main thing was tithing. My main thing was pouring back and investing back into the business and saving and repeat. Tithing, gotta tithe. If you don't tithe, you're not gonna get blessings. That's just me personally, right? Investing back into the business, whether it was stock, new upgraded inventory, every now and then, whether it was upgraded camera equipment, different things. Because again, I'm running a business, an Etsy shop, and I'm running YouTube. So I started out with just my phone, but eventually I knew I needed a camera. I knew I needed lights. I knew I needed speakers and different things like that. So little by little, every time I made money, and it was a write-off too for tax purposes. Every month I'm itemizing, what can I get now? What can I upgrade now? How can I make my business better? I'm now buying 20 shirts as opposed to 10 because I can only buy a limited amount of quantity in the beginning because I only had a limited amount of funds. But the more money I make, the more I can buy, right? Now I'm buying sweatsuits. Now I'm incorporating hats. Now I can incorporate accessories and different things like that. So that's how you scale your business. Now, because we want return customers, if you only offer one thing or one product, how do you get return customers? Just think when you go to your favorite brand or you have something that they really like, if they only have one item, are you going to go back to them? No, you want to offer different colors, and then you want to offer, matching accessories, something that they can always come back to, whether it's keychains, wallets, bracelets, shoes, socks, hats, underwear, whatever it is. So that's how I scaled my business. I knew I wanted to be a household name, right? I did take a pause from my business only because I'm doing like DIYs, renovations, and different things like that. And I changed from Moving Grace to Katrina's Graceful Creations. So a lot of my things that I was selling is now, because I had another LLC. I had to get an LLC for Katrina's Graceful Creations. I was like, this is just too much stuff to pay for. This is just too much stuff to do. So yeah, I tried to put it all under one umbrella. All right, so that's what I did. So my Christian clothing brand, because I actually launched my son's clothing brand as well, Too Hype. Really wanted to get him involved. Went and got all this inventory from Alibaba. This is probably like around 2023, I believe it was. Y'all saw that whole journey, and I was really excited. I was hyped. We were both Too Hype. That was the name of his brand because of his ADHD, right? But as kids get older, they don't want to do much. I'm like, man, I'm trying to pay you. I'm trying to, get you to have your own business and stuff like that. It was really hard the older my son got to keep him motivated. And of course, like his condition, some other things just started happening. So that's why he's not on camera today. So I just literally, things just, I can't even explain it, the things that we're going through with him now. But, because of that, that's why I decided to just take a pause from his Too Hype business, because it just got too much. So my advice would be not to overstretch yourself. So luckily my Etsy shop had got shut down. I said luckily, but luckily it got shut down, right? I had the Christian clothing brand. I was doing extremely well on YouTube, so I did not want to let that go. I had to keep that momentum going. So for me to be doing Etsy before it got shut down, YouTube, my Christian clothing brand, and Too Hype, it was literally overwhelming for me. There was not enough hours in the day. And being a full-time mom, I had to take a pause from Too Hype because there was no way I could give 100% to each business. You have to consider marketing, you have to consider social media, you have to consider packing, you have to consider like every aspect that you would have to do for one business, you have to do it for every business. So it was literally too much. I had never hired anyone yet because I just never felt personally that I was at the place that I could afford. But I know that should have been a part of scaling. I know that had I hired someone, had I hired a team, I probably would be further along than where I am, just realistically. But then again, you never know. I just kept saying, I can do this myself. I kept having these milestone goals, like I want to reach 100K on YouTube. I want to reach, 100K in sales. And then I would say but I kept putting it off. So I never hired anyone, but it's coming. It's coming because I need to. I got to stop, overthinking that. That's the only thing I really be overthinking. Like, do I want to hire? And it's also because the number one reason is because I work from home. I don't want to have people in my house yet. So I'm just still trying to figure out all of that aspect because I definitely cannot afford a commercial spot. It was either a commercial spot or a home. Should have got the commercial spot, right? And kept renting because I want to travel a lot. Yeah, probably should have got a commercial spot. Travel, rent, and then buy a big old house later on. Too late. Okay. All right. Thinking outside. Just thinking in my head right now out loud. I really kept going back and forth and weighed all those options, like literally. But that was my thinking at the time. So the game changed for me when I realized that I was the brand. Yeah, you have to realize that you're the brand. We might think the clothing, the garment, what we're wearing is the brand, but technically, if you are the owner, if you are the face of the company, you are the brand. I was working and, selling all these different items, but I said, you know what, how can I tie it all in? I want it to be all under one umbrella, but I had to realize that I was the brand. So it didn't matter what I was selling, whether I was selling my Christian apparel, whether I was selling bling mugs, whether I was selling sublimation. I then went into embroidery. Then, of course, I went way left field and I started selling wood signs. How did my wood signs go viral? Like, out of everything I was doing, my wood signs probably had the most viral videos. It's because of me. It was who I was, and it was how I create my content. It's how I tell my stories. I am the brand. I'm the voice behind it all. People are not just buying into, oh, that bling mug looks good. They are. Don't get me wrong. My bling mugs was like bomb. I surprised myself at some of the things that I made and how I learned. I taught myself how to do everything. Again, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My mother didn't do all of these different things either. She didn't teach me how to sew or stitch to learn embroidery. Every single thing I've done, every single thing I've shown you guys on my channel, from embroidery to sublimation to digital creation, content creation, crafting, to every single thing, I learned myself. I put a lot of long hours into everything I do. As I look back now, I'll probably do a little bit differently when it comes to my son, because I just remember so many times. That's probably why we're a little distant today. Oh my goodness, but I had to keep telling him and reassuring him that this is for our future. But there were so many times, when you have a little kid, mommy, play with me, mommy, do this, mommy, do that, mommy, take me here. I'm like, Kaden, I can't tonight. I mean, I did a lot with my son. Like, it's there. But, to a kid, they want you 24/7. And I had to tell him, I'm like, I have to do this. I sacrificed a lot. But I realized that I was the brand. I realized that once I did that, once I started, owning who I was, incorporating my story, my own style, my own unique spin, it was a wrap from there. Like, it was a wrap. If you think about your favorite brand, you think about how they market, like what makes them stand out. So it was me. I had to be, I was always authentically me, but I had to showed up every day online. I had to be consistent, and I had to make sure people knew who I was, what I was about, and I didn't change. I didn't waver. So across all my platforms, everything I do, I am consistent, and it speaks loud. It speaks volumes for your work, and it's recognizable. So when people see me or they see my products, That's Katrina's Graceful Creations. You have to be able to market yourself in such a way that people realize and recognize you as the brand. And they're not just buying your products because they like the products, but sometimes they're buying it because they like you. That is the key. That is the golden ticket. And once you market yourself as such, it's up from there. So now let's talk tea, as they say. Is that how they do it? I don't even know what they be doing. I was like, what are they doing? Let's talk tea. Whatever it is, let's talk real. Everyone wants to know, like, literally, I mean, yeah, you can make sales, you're selling all this stuff, but how is that going to afford you to buy a $500,000 house? Because as you know, we got to pay taxes. You know, when you own your own business, you got to pay back taxes. Like, you're not getting taxes taken out throughout the year unless you're paying it quarterly or whatever. But there's a lot of inventory. There's a lot of things you do. So there's money coming in, but there's money going out constantly, right? So how do you keep the money flowing? How do you keep saving, right, on a consistent basis? For me personally, this is how I did it. I had to incorporate digital products into my business. I knew that I wanted money turning over while I'm sleeping. While I'm turning, I want money turning. All right. So I incorporated digital products, whether it was, you know, I didn't really sell too many SVGs just because I didn't have time to create all this stuff. I had to do what was easy for me. So selling ebooks, selling, you know, vendor lists, selling, doing coaching calls. I added coaching calls to my business. I had to find time for that because I knew I had something of value to give, right? So I knew people wanted that. And it was also because people asked for it in the beginning. I wasn't offering it, wasn't thinking about it. I really didn't have the time to do it, to be honest. And I was like, when am I? People kept asking me, are you coaching? Are you mentoring? And I was like, oh God, I think that's something I should start. So that was another stream of income. And it wasn't even a lot because it's not like I get coaching calls all day, every day, but it was another stream. But the digital products, and I got to come up with some more because that is a money maker. You can literally sell anything. Anything you make, you can turn it into a digital, you know, product, and you can sell it. Like, if you know something, if you specialize in something, you better find a way to sell it and market it. So that's like a big money maker, something I will never stop selling. Every day I'm thinking of what else can I sell, you know, and market digitally. So that, along with my YouTube channel, when my YouTube channel took off, that really propelled me. That's when brands start looking at you. That's when, you know, people want to collaborate with you. Not everything you get paid for. I just want you guys to know that up front. But you do get paid for certain things, certain companies. It depends. I have a rate that I charge if it was something, but I turn down so much stuff. Y'all have no idea. I don't ever want people to think, oh, she just, you know, always doing these reviews and stuff. But no, it has to be something that I'm always thinking, can my audience use this for their business? Is this something of value? Is this something that I need? I'm not going to ever put anything on my channel that, number one, I don't need. I know I'm not going to like it. And if I know it's something that's way less, y'all would be amazed at some of the things. People want me to review, like, diapers for, like, oh, I'm like, I don't need no diapers. Like, it was just crazy, some of the stuff that, because people, once you have a larger platform, and my platform is not even that large compared to some other people, but, you know, they just want you to review any and everything. And I have to turn down stuff constantly. So it has to align with my brand, and I have to be authentic. I pride myself on being honest. So whenever you get a review from me, best believe on 1,000, it's an honest review. So 9 times out of 10, there's affiliate commission behind that. It's not a lot, but it does add up if people are buying something, because you put in all this work, you make these videos. It takes a lot of time and hours to film and edit, like literally in the midst of filling orders, in the midst of me being a parent. You guys know whether your kids are doing stuff, they're involved in stuff, or whatever the kids, even if it's just doctor's appointments in school, you're busy, right? So I should get paid for, you know, some of the things that I do, right? Because I am helping the audience, right? That's how I see it. So a lot of people don't like that, you know, people get paid off of, you know, advertising products and stuff. For me personally, I'm just going to say for me, I give high quality content. I don't put out anything that is trash. So it takes me hours to edit a 20-minute video because you don't see the hours of footage that I go through I have to learn every new product that I have a new product that I have to, you know, put out. I'm dreading reading it now, like going or learning the material and stuff. So not everything I get paid for by the product, some I get paid for, but some is affiliate commission. So that's another stream of income. So I just want you guys to know that over the years, it's been my clothing brand. It was my Etsy shop that was doing really great. It was my digital products. It was my affiliate commissions, and the number one to date has been my YouTube channel. And that's all thanks to you guys. That's literally all thanks to you guys who watch me, who support me, and I could not be here today without you. Number one, it was all God backing me and making sure that, you know, when I stepped out on faith and I took that leap that day to leave my job and walk away, that he said, I got you covered. That's why I always say I got, like, if you notice when you look back at a lot of my older videos, I would always say, I got you, I got you. It's because God had me. I do everything, and it all ties back into my Christian clothing brand. It's full circle for me. Everything is intentional. So you got to make sure that you're doing things, that you're operating in faith. It's something that you're passionate about, something that you can talk about, something that, you know, you don't have a problem being shyful or bashful about. It's something that you love, that you want to do. If this is a business that you really want to do, you want to make it happen, you gotta go all in. You have to go all in. And that's what I did. Because I took that leap of faith, it's paying off for me. So again, I still have other goals. I still have other things that I want to do. And I'm praying that they all come to fruition. I have not stopped yet. As some of you know, I have my other channel. I'm so passionate about DIYs and traveling. So that's my other channel. I have a whole lot of fun on that channel. That's my baby. That's my heart. I actually started that channel first. Just so you know, if I'm not abandoning you guys, that channel was first. And I abandoned that channel, but that channel started off with me vlogging my life with my son. And because of his condition, I kind of held off on it, and then I started, this channel. But just so you know, for the record, that channel was always first. So I'm back over there, and I'm trying to grow that channel. So go hop on over there for some fun. Life Adventures with Katrina and Kaden. I might be changing the name, but that's what the name is for now. So I'm not going to hold this video too much longer. I just want you guys to know that anyone can do this business. Anyone can do this business. I started this business with only literally $2,000 to $3,000. I really just can't remember the number, how much it was. $2,000 to $3,000. That's what I started with, buying all of the stuff I needed. These are the top tips I'm going to give you guys. Only buy what you need to start out with. Do not stretch yourself too thin. Focus on one area. You don't have to, niche down per se, because I definitely didn't, but I was in niches, different niches. And I've expanded and I've grown over the time, but that's after I've gotten out there. That's after my name was already established and stuff, and people knew me, and then I can, incorporate other things into my business. Start with what you have. Do not go out here buying expensive fancy cameras. If you got the money, sure, go ahead. Is it going to help? Is it going to hurt? No, I don't really think it's going to make a difference. If you have a good quality phone, because these cameras on these phones now are bomb. Start with what you have. Make sure you are spreading the word. Use social media to your advantage. If you are not using social media, hopefully you have a really large following. Maybe you just know thousands of people already and you don't need social media. But if you don't have that, you need social media, because you don't want to sell to just people you know, right? You want to sell because who says they're going to buy? You want to sell to other people. That's how you're going to stay in business. That's how you're going to stay in business. You got to learn how to sell without selling. I have never been on social media like, hey, I got this new product, make sure you buy it. Like, I've never done. You have to use other strategies and marketing techniques, and I'm going to be talking about that in my upcoming mentorship course as well. I'm not going to give it away on this video, but I had to learn so many different strategies with marketing without selling. That's the number one thing. You don't want to sell and sound salesy and pushy. It's a turn off, right? You got to make people want your stuff by just seeing it. How do you do that? Take my course. Take my course. I'm telling you, this is going to be a bomb course. If I can give you guys one piece of advice, do not be like me and wait too long to legalize and make sure everything is in the right order. I did get a DBA right away, but it took me about 2 years before I even got an LLC. So if you are in this business already, make sure you have your EIN number. Make sure you have legalized your business with an LLC. You don't have to trademark right away, but make sure you're securing your name on social media. While you're getting your business name, make sure you're making sure those names are available on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you at, wherever you want to be promoting your business, make sure it's available on social media as well, because the last thing you want is for you to go out, get an LLC, get your business name, and then when you go to have your business name on social media, someone else has your name. People are starting businesses every single day. So you want to make sure your business name, and it should be the same across all platforms. All the websites to check that. You can Google it, but all of that, I'm going to be giving all that information away in my course as well. All that information is what sites to go to, different things like that. Or you can just purchase my ebook. I do have an ebook, again, digital, shameless plug, right? Shameless plug. I never really do this because a lot of people always ask me in the comment section and stuff, do you sell this or do you offer such and such? And I just assume a lot of people know. I'm not like one of those YouTubers where at the end of every video they're always marketing and advertising. Y'all cannot say I do that. I do not do that. It's so rare, and maybe I'd be making more money if I did. But yeah, I do have an ebook out on how to grow and start your business. I do have vendor lists where you can, you know, get things. It's all on my website. But in this next masterclass that I'm getting ready but in my next live masterclass, it's a 2-session hour packed class each, and I am literally gonna take you guys from start to finish on everything, and you're gonna get all your questions answered. But I'm gonna be taking everyone who signs up for this course on, yeah, we're gonna be scaling these businesses. People have been asking me, so I'm going to help as many people as I can. So yeah, my live master class is coming out. It's starting in August. Early bird special is going on, so definitely go ahead, click the link, sign up. All right, so I'm giving like a $2,000 value away for a low price, all right, for pennies on the dollar. So definitely go and check that out if you're interested. No pressure, it's all good. So I did all of this to give my son a better life. Like, at the end of the day, I've been through so much, you know, raising a single parent home. My mother never, she told me older she told me, you know, when you're a parent yourself, and then when your kids have kids, you know, you sit down and you share things. So she told me so many different things when I had my son, because, you know, I went through some hard times, you know, when I found out I was going to be a single mom. Long story short, I never felt like we didn't have when we were younger. Like, we had the best life ever. My mother made it that way, right? So I didn't see her struggles. I didn't know her struggles, because you're just a kid. You're just happy, frolicking, and, you know, we never went without food. We had like the best dressed clothes back then, you know. But, you know, now looking back, I'm like, wow, my mother did have a lot of hard times. I don't want my son to ever see, you know, my mom didn't have it, or she didn't have this to give me, or she couldn't do this. Yeah, I might be struggling sometimes, or there was moments where I didn't have everything, but he's not gonna ever know that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I had all these different systems in place to make sure I didn't go without, because I did not want to go back. That was just me. I did not want to fail. So I have to keep pressing, because I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what tomorrow holds, right? So I have to keep going hard. So I have all these different things in place, and I'm going to be doing more things. So I have a lot of things coming down the pipeline, because I'm just trying to live out all my wildest dreams. I'm trying to bring them all to fruition. So if you want to turn your dreams into reality, if you want to, you know, expand your business, if you want to scale your business, or you want to just start your business, so many of you are still sitting on your dreams. So many of you are still like in your heads about it. I'm telling you, like, you can do it. I did it. There's so many other people doing it. It's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. I'm just letting you guys know, like, if you can't see yourself pushing yourself to the limits, if you can't see yourself like literally grinding day in and day out, you quit a 9-to-5 to work 24/7, pretty much 24/7. I'm like, God, am I still in my beginning stages? But that's just me, because I'm always working hard. You know, I got someone that want to take me out on a date this weekend. I'm like, I want to, you know, do some work, but I know I got to get myself out there and do more. But nevertheless, I say all that to say, you can do it. If you want it, you can do it. You know your own strengths. You know your weaknesses. If it's a life that you want to live, if it's a thought that you have, make it happen. Like, it's as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. That's all I did. So y'all thought I was going to come on here with some big old grand scheme and all this hocus pocus and stuff? No. It was literally that simple. That's all I did. Other people do different things. Other people hire people, like literally hire teams and hire people to strategize and do, you know, ad funnels and all this stuff. I didn't do all of that fancy stuff. Some people do print on demand. There's a lot of different strategies on how you can start your business, right? Depending upon what your business is. But I didn't do all that. I really wanted to be hands-on, and I chose that route because I wanted to use it on YouTube. I chose to do it. Now, if you don't want to do YouTube, if you don't need to show content, like I had to be able to show content. So I had to be able to show working my business, the day in and day out, the grit, you know what I'm saying? I had to show that. So I took a harder route. So if you don't have to do that, do print on demand. Order transfers. So I'm going to be talking about this and so much more in my live master course. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to meet some of you. Those who've been asking me about it, it's finally here. Don't miss it. You missed the last one. This is going to be, again, a 2-hour class, 2 nights. Still trying to decide the days. So head on over to the website, www.katrinasgracefulcreations.com. It's already up. It's linked down in the bio, pinned in my comments. And of course, all my other products and stuff is there as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you know me just a little bit more, a little bit better. You know my story now in full of how I got to where I am. I'm grateful. I'm so thankful. Some of you are my day one. Some of you have been with me on so many milestones from me very first starting my business, launching, building my very first table. Cannot forget that hideous table. It is still right over there. You've been with me when I reached 100,000K here on YouTube, and I'm so eternally grateful. I'm so eternally grateful. And now here I am sitting in my home that I dreamt about 5 years ago, and I literally did it with all my blood, sweat, and tears. No 9 to 5, no government paycheck, just all me. And it just feels that much better. It's so rewarding when you accomplish your goals, and I want you all to reach your goals as well. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you got some takeaway, and coming back, I have not forgotten about you guys. I'll be back on this channel more and more. I have some more videos coming out, but you know, I am still under renovation, so keep your girl in prayer. I will see you guys in the next video, and as always, don't forget to move in grace. See you later. Love you. Bye.